Torchwood, Greeks Bearing Gifts, Episode 7. We've talked about all the rest of the series, so check it out if you haven't already. But now on Episode 7 of Series 1, Greeks Bearing Gifts, which is a Tosh-based episode. And as a kid, and still in some ways as an adult, I find Tosh's character to be quite boring and the least interesting of the group. With that being said, did I enjoy this episode? A hell of a lot more than what I did back in the day. Yes, I appreciate Tosh a bit more. I appreciate this story a bit more. However, the concept with the necklace basically being able to read people's thoughts is an interesting one, but it more just focused on Owen and Gwen just wanting to do it, and that dirty secret going around and stuff, and it was just, it didn't really push anything really, it was just the same stuff. It was interesting to see Yonto still grieving the Cyberwoman and stuff, so you kind of get where he's at. You can't read Captain Jack's mind, fair enough, because he's dead, I guess. If you tried to read Owen's mind in Series 2, maybe you couldn't do that, because then obviously Owen dies, so, you know. Yeah, it's an alright story. Obviously, you can read people's thoughts. There's so much you could do with it, but they just don't. There's an interesting one where Tosh stops this guy from killing his family and tackles him down. That's an interesting one, but other than that, you've got this other villain that basically appeared in the Sarah Jane Adventures, the pilot episode, for a brief scene. It's only appeared twice in this episode in its form. The rest it takes a persona of this woman. It takes the form of, which is an actress who was from My Family, which is, I think, a decent actress, and she sells it quite well, I guess. But the climax of basically the villain gets what he wants, but Captain Jack muddled with it and sends the monster to the sun. Okay, easy episode. Yeah, this messes with Tosh's head, and the climax, Captain Jack doesn't really give any good advice, which is odd for him. But, yeah, this episode focused on Tosh, doesn't really go anywhere for Tosh, so it just feels pointless in a way, and it could have done so much more. For that reason, Greeks Bearing Gifts gets a 2, no, that's too harsh, gets a 5 out of 10, a generous 5 out of 10. I think it's just average episode for me. So that's my thoughts, opinions. I think we're on to Killing Susie, I think, next episode, which is episode 8. So stay tuned for that. Either way, we're reviewing episode 8, whatever that is. And yeah, I'll see you guys for another review there soon. Have a nice day.